I'm so excited to be here this morning. I feel like I am in the company of greatness. There's so many awesome people here. So Girls Rock Camp magic is abundant. However, it is also very limited in who can actually experience Girls Rock Camp magic because you have to be a girl or a non-binary youth, ages 8 to 17, and I don't think any of us qualify. No offense. So I was thinking that'd be really fun if we just immersed you in like coming to camp, okay? Some of you are into this idea. That is okay. The good news for some of you is that we are short on time. So instead of doing the whole gamut of activities, we're just gonna do a couple, but y'all, here's the thing. When you come to camp, you are immersed in the support and greatness of all of this female mentorship and the sage wisdom of generations, okay? So when you come there, you gotta just go right in. You just gotta do it, okay? So we expect this of our campers and of our girls, and we're gonna expect it of y'all. So once we're out there, we are not mic'd, so I'm just going to give you some instructions and let's just see what happens, okay? So what I'd like for you to do.
We trust you.
I do. Okay, so when Rachel said so, you are to leave everything on your chair, except maybe sunglasses. And then we're gonna have you go outside, okay? So at camp, when you come to camp, our older campers are vinyls and our younger campers are cassettes. Isn't that cute? It's so cute. So unbeknownst to y'all, on your name tag, you are either a vinyl or a cassette. Yes. This is working. So far, so good.
This
okay.
worked.
Now, this game is called Donuts of the Universe, which I just made up. And not the game, but the name. And so what we're going to do is if you are you listening? Okay. Fact check me on this, Lindsay. If you are a vinyl, you are going to go outside and you are going to make a circle. Okay? And then you are going to turn around so that your back is facing the inside of the circle. If you are a cassette, Todd, you are going to go out there and you're going to make a bigger circle around the vinyls and you're going to face in. So if this works, you should be like facing someone. Okay? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Drop your stuff and go outside, folks.
All right. Woo!
Is everyone feeling like they're at camp yet? I said, is everyone feeling like you're at camp yet? Alrighty, so things are moving quickly at Girls Rock Camp. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna have everyone spread out into one large circle, and I want you to stand next to someone new, and we're gonna time you and see if it can be done in 15 seconds.
We're gonna get to know each other a little bit better, okay? So, we're gonna spend 30 seconds sharing about who our first concert was. You gotta make it quick. Who was your first concert?
Okay. We are going to do one of our favorite camp activities. You come in the morning, you do freak aerobics, and then you do the scream circle. And it is as terrifying as it sounds because they're little kids and their octaves are up here. But y'all, we're gonna breathe from our gut. We're gonna take a nice deep belly inhale. And then I want you to focus on something that you just gotta let go, okay? And we're gonna do this all together. I want you to scream so loud and hard that you might poop or something. Don't poop. Are we ready? Yeah! All right, deep inhale. In through the belly, fill up the chest as much as you can. Even take another little sip at the top, and now go, go!
That was awesome. You guys are officially campers. Come on back inside. You have graduated.
All right. Can we give it up for the AV team of Roundhouse? Y'all are wizards over there
bailing us out of trouble. Okay, should we get started? Okay, this is the part where I start off with a really embarrassing story to make you relate to me. Let's go. So, oh. Yeah. So when I was a kid, I was super athletic. I was really active. I was a fast runner. I loved gym class. Sorry for those of you that gym class was hell, but for me, it was my jam. I loved dodgeball, capture the flag, and all that stuff. And at my elementary school, when you got to 5th grade, you finally got to compete in the 5th grade Olympics. Does anyone have this? Okay. So for the girls, when you're in elementary school, boys haven't hit puberty, so we're pretty fast and we're pretty strong, right? Turns out, I won the gold medal, hold your applause, in like every event. Like all the sprints, the high jump, the long jump, and even the most competitive obstacle course, which was literally kids scrambling over these giant cement tunnels while they were being pelted with basketballs. Like super dangerous shit. It was the 80s. You could do that kind of thing. I was so excited because I really wanted to have my name on the little plaque thing in the hallway at school that's supposed to be there forever and ever. And I mean, I cleaned up, okay? And the boys loved this. Just kidding. They totally hated it. This story's not going to end well. So the next morning I came in, I was like all jazzed and feeling really good about myself until I went out to recess. And we have like a playground in the courtyard. And I discovered that every boy in my grade was up on this jungle gym screaming, "We hate Jesse." I know. In unison for like the entire recess, which was like a half an hour, which if you think about it, for 5th graders, that's like a commitment, right? They gave up their recess for that. So I thought if I was a boy and I had done so well, I'd be like this revered kid in class. So I was pissed and a little bit hurt. And I also remember that there was a teacher on the scene, a woman who was like a PE teacher or a coach. She wore a whistle, and she was out there like talking and laughing with the boys. And to me, I think to all of us, it sent a kind of harmful message, right? Which is that for girls, for boys, likability and success were like positively correlated. But for girls, the opposite is true. I can't say it, but you know what I mean? Okay, that was really hard to say the first time. But so needless to say, I was pretty distraught. And so the message that I think it sends to girls is like, look, you can be brave, you can be ambitious, you can take risks, and you could fail. And you could fail and be ridiculed. Or you could take chances, take risks, be competitive, and you could succeed, and guess what? You're still going to be ridiculed. So, or you could do your best to like try and fit in. So like I think about like the fish in the school of fishes. It's like in the middle and like trying not to get eaten by the shark. You know, you're just trying to fit in. And I just feel like all of those options suck. So our girls are being taught to be smaller, figuratively and literally, and they are taught to see each other as competition, to compare themselves and each other to these impossible standards, and we are really just now beginning to understand the long-term impact of this. So, how we doing? We're kind of getting into some deep stuff after the fun stuff. Just stay with me. Oh, this is just in here because it's so awesome. Thank you, Miss Crit. You're fabulous. Huh. Oh, okay. So that's fun. I'll just come back to that. So when Bree offered a list of like all the things to choose for Creative Mornings, I think she wanted me to choose rhythm because that would have been easy. But I was like, I kept coming back to Rise because the more that I get involved in this work of community building, and equality work, the more I realize that like we as a community, we're gonna rise or fail together. You know what I'm saying? This is the work for all of us. And gender inequality negatively impacts every single one of us. This is not just a problem for women, right? I'm gonna pick on someone. Andrew. Hi. Andrew, do you believe that women should be allowed the same rights, power, and opportunities as a man? Yes. Of course you do, because you're a lovely gentleman, and also you'd be murdered if you said anything else in this crowd. Just kidding, just kidding. Guess what? You are a feminist, Todd. Do you believe that women should be allowed the same rights, power, and opportunities as men?
I do.
Great. I hate to tell you, also a feminist. So all this kind of man-hating rhetoric and nonsense aside, if you believe this statement, you're on the bus, we're all on the bus together, we're gonna depart the station now. We don't need to talk about that anymore, okay? This is just a nod to Greta and Margot. Okay. So, what happens next? Okay, so I'm picking on the men for a reason, because the work that we're about to dig into, you belong here as part of this conversation. Raise your hand if you identify as a woman. Keep it raised. Raise your hand if you have a daughter. Keep it raised, that's the idea. At the end, we're all gonna raise our hands together. Spoiler alert. Raise your hand if you have a sister. Raise your hand if you have a mother. Okay, or had a mother. There we go. Okay. Every once in a while, I'm going to show you a really depressing slide. We're not going to stay too long on it, but like, y'all, this is ridiculous. 131 years, based on the rate of which we are going now. So the other thing I want to say is if you are a ride or die feminist in this group, you are a strong, independent woman, you have checked the feminist box, you have a bumper sticker that says something to the effect, this work is also for you. It's just ongoing unpacking, okay? The more that I research, the more that I work with kids on this and the rest of our community, I realize that there's a lot more like subtle cognitive awareness going on, and that I have, it's like the more I learn, that I have so much more work to do to unpack a lot of those harmful gender normative stereotypes that have been put on us. And if you think about it generationally, like, you know, I think my mom is the most stressed person in the world. But if you're like, hey, mom, you seem stressed, like, she doesn't know what you're talking about. Like, stress is nothing. It is the world in which she lives. She has accepted this. There is no counseling. There is no therapy, you know? So just think about that for generations and generations and generations. So women being undervalued and underestimated comes at a cost. So we're checking the box, yes, but we still have to dig deep. And we have to dig deep and think about the impact on those in our BIPOC communities and our LGBTQ folks so that we are dismantling these systems of power, like, together, that no longer serve us. And we gotta do it with everyone at the table or it just doesn't work. So are we all on the bus? Okay, great, because I was like sweating there for a moment, like, okay. If you've ever met me, you've heard this. Between the ages of 8 and 14, girls' confidence levels drop by 30%. It gets worse when you become a teenager. So in early elementary school, ladies, we are at the same, there's no discrepancy between really confidence levels of boys and girls. We are using our bodies, we are active, we are taking risks, we're raising our hands in class, and then something happens. And neurologists and psychologists have been researching this gender confidence collapse for girls, and there's a lot of factors involved, and it's kind of like this perfect storm. Some of you might be able to relate to some of these things. So girls develop a higher EQ faster than boys, and so that makes them, theoretically, no, this is true, it's not theory, it makes them more aware and attuned to the feelings of others, which sounds good, right? But sometimes this can turn into our friend people-pleasing. So at first we think this is good in our kids because they're like, oh, I want to study really hard and I want to get an A because I want my teacher to like me and then I'm going to go home and my parents are going to be so proud of me. Over time, yes, she knows what I'm talking about. Yes. Over time, this can turn into our friend perfectionism. Anyone? Okay. Oh, yeah. I love you. So, what's the worst thing that a perfectionist can do? Oh, you guys are quick. That is right, because the consequences of failing are just too deep a risk. The setback is just too far to recover from. Even a small setback, even a small failure, a small criticism can wreck us. This fear of criticism and unlikability keeps us from taking risks. Now, another harmful behavior, isn't this fun? I promise it will get better. Something happened, someone said something hurtful, I said something dumb, and now I'm gonna think about it forever. It's gonna be the loop that keeps haunting me. And I mean, who's got a deep loop? Yeah, I got some deep, deep loops. And also, it takes up time and energy away from the other things we could be doing with our brains. So we're losing time. So we're starting to see kind of why this gender confidence gap is happening. Okay, and then our friend, negative self-talk. I don't know why it's so big. It didn't look like this when I made it, but it's... Apparently the universe is trying to tell me something. So what I'd like for us all to consider, now I'm talking about campers here, but let's be real. It's not like we get over puberty and are like, hey, I'm a fully actualized, awesome adult now, and I've healed from my trauma, and now everything's gonna be just great. That would be cool. I would just like for us as adults to think about how these manifest into adulthood. Are we still having fun? I feel like this is so depressing, but it gets better. Okay. So speaking for myself, I need a lot of support. I need therapy, I need healing spaces, I need friends that will deal with me, I need all sorts of things. Also during this 8 to 14 age range, we've got social pressures of popularity, bullying, all that fun middle school stuff. And now we've got like targeted social media ads because the beauty industry is trying to like make sure they got consumers coming up, right? And they have these like hyper reality beauty filters, like don't even get me started. And I don't know what it would be like growing up like that. I'm not even gonna pretend to understand what that would be like. You're on constant interface with mass audience being judged in real time. So basically, our minds learn how to bully our bodies, okay? And this goes on for a long time, which can turn into body dysmorphia. So 42% of first to third graders want to be thinner. Like, what's going on? And I could have gone way deep, and that just stands for itself. And no wonder, because what's the universal message that our girls are getting? What's the number one most valued asset? Your appearance. I mean, not in St. Pete because we're cool, but like your appearance. You're valued on your appearance. I mean, I doubt that any woman in this audience got unscathed from that reality growing up as a girl and how quickly it happens. Now, my good friend Brene Brown reminds us that what's the universal message that boys are getting? What can't they be? Who said that? Weak. Give that lady a sticker. So that's right. And now this is certainly insidious and harmful to boys over time. The message is, though, in regards to confidence, is take that risk. Don't be scared. Be brave. Do the thing. And often what happens is that they do the thing, and then they realize that they have survived the thing, and now guess what? Next time, it's not that bad. So they are, all of this time, building resilience. And so that the repetitive risk taking leads to resilience, and we know that resilience is the foundation of confidence. This happens over time. Boys are not unscathed, but they do end up taking more risks, which gives them more opportunities to fail often. So this plays out in the workplace later on. I am mad about it too. Okay? Okay, sister? Thanks for getting on the bus. So just for a quick example, and I think for time I'm going to just jump ahead, but a great job has opened up, okay? Men look through the list of qualifications and decide that they need what percent of those qualifications before they think that they are qualified to apply for said job. Anyone? Let's give him a little bit of credit here. Like 30%. Okay, Ms. Crit says 60%. You're a genius. Give her a sticker. Okay, guess what percentage, on average, women need to apply for the same job?
120. Yeah.
If there was 120, yes. Yeah. 100. Who's more likely to get the job? So, and then you look at competency versus confidence, which I think is just fascinating. Because on average, men tend to overestimate their competency, and women tend to underestimate this. It's like you guys have been living this your whole life. So in the workplace especially, confidence is really valued even more so than competence. So look at this message we've given our girls: to be people-pleasing, to do their hard work, to do the homework, to have the 100% of the qualifications for the job. And then guess what? They don't have confidence. And so are they effective leaders in those roles? So we've got this like, yeah, there's a glass ceiling, but like, let's talk about how there's rungs on the ladder that have been broken. We are not going at the same pace. We've lost a lot of time in this. Girls get left behind. And we have less opportunities for risk-taking and failing and recovering, so we get stuck right in those years that we should be doing all of that. We should be like messing up and failing, and it's safe to do that, and we're just not. We're stuck. Those people-pleasing, perfectionism, rumination, it's like a full-time job for our emotions. So now I'm gonna add, just this fun little last kicker, some trauma to this slow cooker of terror. This will end happy, Amy, just stick with me. 20% of Pinellas High School girls were exposed to 4 or more traumatic events. They call ACEs, and I forget what it stands for, but it's basically like, dang girl, okay, give her a sticker. So it could be violence, a really traumatic divorce, death of a family member, and 25% of girls, this is pre-pandemic data by the way, have seriously considered suicide. That is 1 in 4 of our kids right here in Pinellas County. So when you think about, are we building our girls enough resilience to be able to deal with those traumas? And like, I'm looking at you guys and you're getting teary-eyed, and now you're making me teary-eyed, so if y'all could just stop. So this confidence collapse that we all know about now leaves girls very ill-equipped to recover from trauma, and it's a slow process that we carry into adulthood. Okay, depressing. Okay, here we go. But it's not all doom and gloom, because we know that creating more opportunities for risk-taking and failure during this critical age makes a difference. A la Girls Rock Camp. Woo! We got there. Rachel's right here. Okay. I want to introduce you to Rachel Sibilia, the founder of Girls Rock St. Pete. And my ride or die. So 8 years ago, Rachel was like, hey, let's get a Girls Rock Camp together. Come on over, see this film. A bunch of people came, and I was like, this is the camp I needed when I was a kid. And if I could give you $1 for every person who said that, I'd have a lot of dollars. So my first year of Girls Rock Camp 8 years ago, I watched 20 girls march off into the world transformed. And so was I. I was like nonstop gushing to everyone like I was in love, because I was. Because this felt revolutionary to me. This was a space, like I'm getting goosebumps right now, you guys. This was a space where you got to explore who you were because you felt so held and supported. And again, my best friend Brene Brown says that fitting in, what is it, KJ? Fitting in is the opposite of belonging. Yes. Thank you for my girlfriend for paying attention for when I blank out. Okay. Did y'all hear that? Fitting in is different than belonging. The opposite of, in fact, because if you're fitting in, we're contorting ourselves. If we are belonging, we're being our authentic selves, and people accept us for who we are. So I witnessed girls that were too shy on the first day of camp to even say their names, right? And by the end of that week, Scream Circle was like blood-curdling. They experienced a new version of themselves. They stepped into their power. All sorts of weird stuff happens when you make a safe space, and it's so beautiful. People changed their names, changed their genders, changed their personality. Like, they just blossomed. And you saw this transformation, and you're like, okay, now we need to, like, full steam ahead. Now we just got to do this and do it big. So our first year was like 20 kids in a tiny space with one bathroom. It was stinky, but it was really beautiful. And they cheered each other on, right? And they learned to see themselves and each other with a confidence that I could not have dreamed of as a kid. So we are not a music camp. I know I've just told you that we are. And we kind of are, but like, not to be confused with like a School of Rock model. We are not trying to crank out pop stars. Although we've had some banger songs and some great bands that have come out of Girls Rock Camp. Yes. So I would love for you to raise your hand if you have been a volunteer for Girls Rock Camp, if you are a board member, if you have been on the Dude Crew, if you have volunteered in any capacity or given us money or food or time. Thank you. Like, look at this. This is great. Awesome. Full volunteer run for 8 years. We couldn't do it without all of those hands. So, and at the end of this, I want you to join this whole thing. And I'm going to explain to you where your role is. So, when you're navigating in a rock band, it makes this like perfect microcosm, right, for messing up quickly, because we're all on the same page. So here's the model. Just kidding. Just kidding again. The model is that 50 kids over the summer come in on the first day of camp on Monday. They are assigned a musical instrument. We teach drums, keys, bass, guitar, vocals, and keys. Did I get them all? And so you're assigned one of those. Most of the campers have never picked up their instrument before. In the afternoon, they're assigned to a band of strangers, of people that they probably have never met before. And they are given 5 days to learn their instrument, write an original song, and then perform it on Saturday at Janice Live to 1,000 people. Yeah. No big deal. NBD, what?
I said it makes me nervous as an adult to think
Yeah,
about doing that.
exactly. I know, right? They're very brave.
Yeah.
So, yes, and they crush. So at Girls Rock, you are set up for success because you feel safe to fail. And fast and as much as possible. When a camper says, "I'm sorry," we say,
You rock!
that's right, because, man, we just all walk around, I'm sorry for existing. And, like, this is just this thing that women do. And so, so we're trying to come up with, the whole curriculum is extremely curated to breaking these cycles. So that's just, so for another, taking a banana is something we say. One of the kids invented it. I think it was Piper, actually. You know Piper, your daughter's friend. Okay, so cool. Even if you just humored me, I'm grateful. So taking a banana is like taking a break to just step back, feel your emotions, and then understand that you have the power to kind of shift where you are. And sometimes you just need to take a break for that. So we have all of these weird things that we do around camp. So it's not just about the music. This makes me want to like talk about other things. Stay on track, Jesse. Okay. So we have workshops every day, and our workshops are around social justice, where we teach intersectional feminism and how to be activists, how to be allies. We teach a workshop on caring for yourself, caring for the environment, self-defense, self-expression, body positivity, all of the things that we just talked about that, that we need to build skills at. All right. So what happens over time is that you start to see that the campers realize, like, they're playing the drums for the first time. They don't know what they're doing. Of course they're going to mess up. What's the point of saying sorry? You're just doing it. You know, everyone's just doing it. So devastation from failure just fleets away. And if you keep doing it, eventually you might succeed. So they learn that they can face fear, not necessarily like squash it and get rid of it, but kind of take it with them, right? So camp is where girls start to see each other as allies. They really start to understand the value of what it's like to have someone tell you, man, that was a really good riff you played, or whatever. We teach them how to have, like, what a real compliment is. So, like, you know, great shirt. Oh, I do love your hair. But, like, also, you know, you did this really cool thing. Or today I noticed when that girl was by herself that you sat down and spent some time with her. Or, you know, you always bring great energy to the room. And then they take this bag. It's called Talking Good Behind Your Back. And they take it home, and then they read them, and they cry, and they put them up on their mirrors. KJ still has some on her mirror. So 96% of our camper parents report seeing a significant increase in confidence in their kids after camp. So they're open to trying new things and learn, and they're starting to learn leadership skills. And then they come back to camp, and they want to level up into our punk rock prefect program, which Wendy here has started for us, which is awesome. And then they graduate from camp, and they want to be, well, they come to the Anarchitty band, which is our showcase band. Let's see if these all seem out of order. Oh, this is Scream Circle. This is our group agreements. So instead of rules, we allow everyone to kind of come up with the rules together so that they're really invested in what's happening there. And it's about building a safe and protective and inclusive space. How am I on time? I just feel like I'm talking forever. And I'm good? Oh, okay. Also, when we talk about girls, this is really important. We are inclusive. We have kids, like I said, that come and transition during camp, or maybe they're in a family situation where it's not safe for them to talk about it, and we have counselors on site from Metro, and they're in Lifetime to help them. We also have this drop your baggage that some of you might have participated in here. Campers are going through all sorts of stuff, and they're encouraged to anonymously drop it in there. And it can be heavy. It can be, you know, my parents are going through divorce, my mom has cancer, we've been sleeping in a car, I've been in foster care, and we unpack those, we put them all up on a board, and with our counselors in a very supportive space, we talk about all that stuff because it's important for kids to know that they're not alone. Which was a big thing for me. My family, we moved around a lot, so it was just really hard for me to like make friendships and keep them. So feeling that sense of belonging is like clutch for building confidence. Now I just want to show you fun photos. This is Anarchitty. To Lauren right here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information about stuff that's coming up, and then I have a question for you, and then we're done. So. This is our first crew up here in 2016, and you can see that we've grown a little bit. That was like 2018. Actually, the last time we were on Janice stage, they were like, "Get off, you're going to break the stage." Like, we had so many people. Like, we all got on, and we're so excited to our camp song, and then everyone was like, "The stage is buckling." So this was our first smelly, tiny camp space, but there were some good times there. Here's our crew and our dude crew. Some of our campers. Crushing on stage. This is just fun for me, really. Phoenix. Yeah. A lot of our campers come back. Sometimes we make the front page of the Tampa Bay Times or the Creative Loafing, no big deal. Anarchitty, thanks to Tiffany, opened up for the band Pussy Riot at Pride. And then, because of Tiffany, they opened up for Indina Menzel. So it's like these campers are like playing these massive venues that like musicians here are like, what the hell? How did this happen? You didn't even play the guitar last week, you know? We have an office now because we're super legit like that at the Allendale Equity and Justice Center. Yeah. So just real quickly, I want to wrap up with ways to build confidence. This is really important for ourselves and for our girls. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm around a lot of kids that, you know, it's getting harder and harder to convince them to do the thing. You know, too cool for school, they don't want to be made a fool. Encourage that. And you can encourage that by modeling failure for kids, which is, you know, just something we do every day. But do it in front of them. It's great. And learn to love failure and do it faster. Now, women supporting women. This is really important. To quote Tina Fey from Mean Girls, just because I can, there's a lot of, what did she say? I'm going to mess it up. There's a lot of girl-on-girl crime going on around here. And it's tough because we're taught this, you know. It's hard to catch yourself when you're talking about someone. It's hard to stop yourself when you're kind of on a roll with some negative energy. It's hard to, like, because we've just been doing it for so long, like on autopilot. But there's a lot of things here in St. Pete. I just see beautiful things happening all the time. But promote each other's businesses, promote each other's successes, go to their shows, buy their merch, do the thing, tag them. Provide mentorship. There's a lot of sage wisdom in this room. Some of you are my mentors. Mentor younger women and girls. It's really important. It makes all the difference. Be a bridge builder. Some of you in here just like do this by breathing. You're like, oh, I know this person that knows this person, and you'd be great for that. Look for opportunities for them. This is great in the workplace too. You got to stick up for each other in the workplace. It's hard because it's not always valued. But it's really important, and it's transformative when someone does it for you. When someone says, you'd be great for that job, you should go for this, I think you'd be great for this, it really boosts you up. Nominate each other. There's like 1 million awards in St. Pete now. You know, you're always gonna nominate someone, nominate a woman, nominate your shiro, nominate a local business owner. Provide backup. We've all been in that meeting or whatever when someone's idea gets taken over by someone else. Stick up for them, you know. Provide backup. Remind each other of their value. I think what happens to me is I get caught up in not feeling good enough, thinking about the things that I'm doing wrong, messing up. And so I kind of forget that everyone else is doing that too. And so let's pause and be like, wow, you just crushed on that, you know, and really make it stick. Because it's important. And talk good behind their backs. Be the person in someone's life that's you know what? Anytime that Erica is talking about me, it is good. I'm confident that if I'm not in that room, that she's saying good stuff about me, that she's talking me up. It's contagious, you know? It's really cool. I just put this in here because I just think it's so great. It's too contradictory. So I don't really have anything to add to that because it's brilliant. But I do want to just promote a couple of things. So we have at our rock concert, so camp is coming up this summer. It's July 15th through the 20th. We fill up really fast. And we don't fill up, it's an application process because we really care about making sure that we reflect the diversity in the community. So we have spots for specific kids so that we make sure that we've got a foster youth in there, that we're representing what's going on in St. Pete. That said, y'all should apply. If you know of a kid, musical experience is not required, obviously. So I think I have a QR code in here. And then we raise all of our money mainly through the sponsorships that Rachel works so hard on every year for our concert. We have this Boss Babes level that's really fun because you can come to camp. You can bring all the women on your team. You can have a sneak peek. And you get to go up on stage and introduce your band, which is super cool. These always sell out, so I just wanted to give you guys the scoop on that. That's going to be coming soon. Oh, we do have Boss Babes. Boss Babe, Boss Babe. Vanessa, Boss Babe. Raise your hand if you're a Boss Babe. Don't be shy. Boss Babe, yeah! Boss Babe! Okay. What's this? Well, I'm so glad you asked. This is Ladies Rock Camp. So we realized that when our volunteers said, I need this is a camp I needed when I was a kid, guess what? It's not too late. Come to Ladies Rock Camp. Okay, help me out. I've got 2 slots left that I need to fill. What I'm learning is that working with women is really hard because y'all got kids and professions and lives and things happen. And so 40 people signed up and then people are I gotta do this. So it's shifting. Sign up for Ladies Rock Camp. There's a couple of spaces left. I'd love to have you. It's February 8th through the 11th, Thursday night only, and then full days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then if you can't come and show up for these brave women who will be performing at Bay Brew Brewing, which is a block from here, on the 11th, which is Super Bowl Sunday, but at 2 p.m., so you don't miss the game. See? There's the QR code. Come to camp. Just leave it there a second longer so that, dude, yeah. All right. Hell's Bells, yes. There's some, raise your hand if you're coming to Ladies Rock Camp. Yay! It's going to be so fun. We also started, because we know that boys need to be a part of this conversation, we want to bring them into the magic, so we host a youth open mic every other month that DeLauren and Zeta host for us. It's at the Chataway. It's coming up this Sunday, 3 p.m. You just got to be under 18. You can do whatever you want. You can do a magic trick. You can do what do? They do all sorts of drag. What? Comedy. So bring your kids. And even if they think they're not going to perform, trust me, they will. They will. Volunteer with us. Our volunteers are the best. I love our volunteers. You get to learn so much, and by hanging out with these kids, it's just, like I said, it's contagious, it's infectious, and we need all of these things. So just because you're not a musician, it does not matter. We need designers, event crew, crafty dames, dames that aren't dames. Just come on and be a part of this. The dude crew are just some of the best of men. And they do all of our support stuff. They schlep our gear. They're really into making a platform for girls and women. Right there, Vadim, holding down our dude crew. Love you. And they have 2 daughters that have been in rock camp. One of them is turning 21. One of them is like Berkeley School of Music. Like, they're just going to be famous. So don't forget about us. These are just some great resources. The Confidence Code, where I got a lot of my DATs and stuff from. And then there's a Confidence Code for girls, and there's a Confidence Code workbook for girls. And then lastly, just because this is very important, I like to make sure that every time I do this talk, that I make sure that everyone understands who invented rock and roll. I know it's a loaded question because, like, which one person could have invented rock and roll? Oh my gosh, do you know?
I know.
Tell me, who is it?
Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah. It's also really important for us to pay tribute to our sheroes and look at history from a perspective of the unsung people that deserve recognition. Sister Rosetta Tharpe was a queer black woman from the gospel genre. Thanks. Run out of words. And I have a little video here, but like I didn't understand how to make this happen. But go home and watch this video. It's really great. She plugged in her the classical guitar and just started playing all these riffs. And then the next thing you know, Elvis and Chuck Berry came from her. Yeah. Him too. So this is a QR code. I'd love all of you to get your phones out or just pretend that you're doing it so I don't call you out, because this is where you're going to volunteer for Vibe Tribe. And you can come and work with our campers during the week. Some of our volunteers like take off the whole week and get a whole week of vacation to come and be here. But other people like work at nights and come during the day. And other people that can't be there during the day go and pick us up food and help us flyer around and do all sorts of tasks. So I promise you there is something that you are good at that we need. So if you feel interested in joining this little revolution, you should do it. Oh, you guys made this and it's so pretty. Gosh. All right. How was that? Hello? Oh, okay. Great. Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much to Bree. You are crushing it. And is the OG still here? Is Tara still here?
Are you? Yeah, I think she just walked out. She literally just walked outside.
Go
Tara!
chase her down. No. Tara, who was the previous host, which
Yay, Tara!
Tara, we're trying to miss you. Tara and I talked years ago, pre-COVID, about this. So, look, we finally made it happen. So glad that you're here. We're so lucky in St. Pete to be surrounded by all of this beautiful community, men, women, everything in between. And I just want to thank you so much for your time. I hope I gave you something to think about. And who invented rock and roll? I have done my job. I feel pretty good. Okay. Yay. Thanks, Dave.